Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists from the current metagame. Today we have the first place deck list of Mike Cleaver. This is a very spicy 60 card Lightsworn deck that features a ton of really cool cards in here to just basically beef up your maximum boards, which is quite cool to see. So without further ado, let's get into the deck list. We have 3 copies of Snow, triple Raiden, triple Wolf, triple Lonefire, triple Scorpio, the 1 Cobra, then the spicy Glow Up Bulb and Spore to make your Trishula, and this can actually give you some rank 4 plays as well. Triple Mizuki, triple Solitaire, double Unizombie and Spirit Master, that's a fairly standard zombie engine. Then double Goblinberg, I believe he actually wanted to play 3 because it helps you to unbrick your bad hands. 1 Giant Rex, 1 Trick Clown, 1 Thousand Blades, 1 Garnet, triple Ash Blossom, and 1 Destrudo as well. A little bit spicy, not the sort of thing that we've seen a lot of, but having access to Black Rose so readily is really crucial and quite a good thing to be able to just do. Triple Left Arm Offering, triple Rilling Fusion, triple Charge, triple Desires, triple Goldzok, the 1 Grass, 1 Foolish, 1 Rota, 1 Soul Charge, 1 Monster Reborn, and triple Solar Recharge. For the extra, 1 Seraphonite, Black Rose, Michael, double Omega, Scarlight, 1 Trishula, which is now accessible, the Invoker, Minerva, Tornado, Dweller in here, really crucial in mirror matches and things like that. Then the 1 Baguska, 1 Radiant, 1 Curious, and Warlord, because it's basically the best Link 4 that you can make. For the side deck, triple Ghost Ogre, this 1 Raikou Lightsworn fighter. So this guy, if you normal summon it or it's flipped face up, you banish a Lightsworn monster from your hand or grave to banish a card on the field. So it's basically a free banish because you're bound to have something in the grave, and the Lightsworns in the grave aren't that important unless you have like revival cards, so this is really cool to see. Only 1 off though, but you can search it with charge. Triple Twin Twisters, triple Anti-Spell, triple Evenly Matched, and the Utopia package in the side because it does take up a significant amount of your extra deck and it's so tight within this deck that it can be a bit of a struggle, and you're only going to need it against certain matchups. So we have quite an in-depth tournament report here from Mike. So we're just going to briefly go over some of the matchups that he went through. So round 1 against Grand Machu, he 2-0'd him. His opponent let him go first twice, and he opened up pretty well each time. Although in the second game, when he had less than 20 cards in deck, he still hadn't seen Snow, so he couldn't quite win. But as soon as he got one there, he was able to just game his opponent in a single turn. Round 2, he went up against Ojamas and 2-0'd him. This is a friend who had managed to beat a different friend of his in round 1, but bricked twice, opening up the vanillas in each of the games. He knew that he could play basically whatever he wanted against his opponent because his opponent had actually sold his Ashes to Mike 2 days before the event. Round 3 against Trickstars, 2-0'd him. Game 1, his opponent Ash Scorpio, so he used Left Arm Offering and milled something like 18 cards to make 2 Omegas and Trishula, which is basically game. Game 2, his opponent summoned 2 Licorice and set 2. He opened up Grass because he knew that he opened up Grass because he had skill, and he knew his opponent didn't have Ash, so he played Grass for 22. His opponent flipped different Dimension Grounds, which is pretty massive. Banished 16 monsters, but no Snow. It did hit a Giant Rex, of course, which is very nice to see. So he just attacked and banished his opponent's Licorice, and his opponent ended up just having less resources than he did. Round 4, another Trickstar matchup, another 2-0. Usual sort of thing. Make 2 Omegas, take away his opponent's resources, and that kind of steals the game. He took away an Eater of Millions and made sure that his opponent could never summon it. In the second game, his opponent went first, set up a board, and Mike forced out the Reincarnation by attacking the Licorice early on to banish a bad hand and give him Grass, which is always nice. Round 5 against Trickstars again, 2-0, pretty much the same as round 4, except he didn't have to draw Grass in order to win. Round 6, in the mirror, he went 2-1, playing against Shane Bell in the final. He won the die roll, opened fairly nutty, setting up Curious, double Omega with Snow and Spirit Master in the grave, and he had an Ash in hand in case his opponent had Left Arm or Grass, as he went through nearly half the deck. Game 2, he did pretty much the same thing, but in the opposite way around, putting Mike under a Dweller. He could have played out of it if he hadn't drawn Garnet for turn. So they went into Game 3. Mike's hand looked really good with Ash Brilliant Fusion, a Charge, and Solar Recharge, but his mills were terrible, so he just ended on Omega Dweller with Ash, Wolf, left arm in hand, but no Snow Engrave. He let his opponent's Predaplant Scorpio play go through, as it was safer to keep Ash for grass, because he'd already milled a lot and he knew that his opponent wouldn't be able to kill him just off that combo because of the Dweller. So they started getting into the end of match procedure. His opponent misplayed, could have killed him using Scarlight, but he played it at the wrong time, so unfortunately his opponent didn't get through, but that means that Mike was able to get through. Because his opponent had Snow in the Grave, there weren't many plays that Mike could make without the monster being set, so he used left arm for charge and had to mill Snow. He hit the Snow, searched the Lightsworn Raikou, set his opponent's Scarlight with Snow, made Minerva using the Snow and the Giant Rex. Then that was then set by his opponent's Snow, so he banished the opposing Snow with a Raikou, which is really solid, hit over the opposing Scarlight with a Mega, and attacked directly with Raikou. His opponent then used Thousand Blades, hit the Raikou and passed, and Mike couldn't get game next turn, but left his opponent on 850 life points less than himself, whilst Mike had a Curious and Baguska on board, which is pretty solid. Plus he had a Snow and Spirit Master Engrave, so his opponent couldn't really do anything and scooped. As for changes for the deck, Mike's not really sure about what the meta is going to do in the future, but he definitely feels like it's in a healthy state of affairs. There's a lot of decks that are viable which are really good for the game. He feels like 60 card Zombie Plant Lightsworn has been a really strong deck for a while, and he's been playing it since YCS London, so quite a while. So that was actually the full power Spiral format, and he believed it was good then, and he still thinks it's really good now. He says that it's really odd how one or two tech choices can really change how the deck actually works, so it's cool to see that he's gone with some choices that allow him to get into additional extra deck options, which is quite cool, as opposed to just focusing on ones that get you more consistently into the same plays. In addition to being able to go through all of these plays, you can still often just make the 2 Omegas, because you wouldn't have used the Unizombie a second time. Raikou in the side, he says, is really fun to use. It should be in the main. It used to be in the main because you could put Spiral Sleeper. You could banish that, but with One Resort, Spiral is obviously less popular, so having the Raikou banish it is just not as important. He says that Curious is a big plus for the deck. It takes away some of the RNG, and it's probably one of the best cards that the deck has available at the moment. So thanks very much for sending in your deck list, Mike. Obviously you did mention that some of these cards do constitute towards brick hands, so he said that having the third Goblinberg would help to alleviate some of that risk. So he's not sure what he would end up taking out for it. We've seen a couple of builds that didn't run Solar Recharge, so it'll be interesting to see what we see, to find out what we will see from Decklist in the future. You know, will Solar Recharge be an important card in the future because it allows you to get those extra mills through, but then it does rely on you having access to basically a 9 of, because you need a Lightsworn, you have 3, 6, 9 in the deck. Available to you, so that's an interesting thing to think about as well. But let us know what you think about this deck. Put any comments or suggestions that you have in the comment section down below. If you're interested in taking part in the series, check out the description. It's got all the details of how you can get in touch and send me your deck list so that we can get you on Top Deck. If you're interested in following the series, don't forget to subscribe and obviously click the bell button so that you get notifications for any future uploads. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.